Good morning. I went to Trader Joe's super nice and early, so it was empty, and I saw all the super beautiful spring flowers, so hopefully the weather is getting warm. And then I saw all of these new items. They had these Chinese New Year gummies, croutons, and then these oat bars, which really caught my attention because I love oat ice cream, so I thought maybe these would be good, but didn't end up getting them. Now I'm on my way home to start my day, and I made myself this really yummy breakfast. I was super busy, so I cut back to cooking dinner. I flipped it and, ooh, crispy. So I don't know why this one's very oblonged and this one's round. So I swear they're like lined up, but pumped. Oh my god, double cheese pull. Yum. When I was at Trader Joe's earlier today, I went just to grab 2 items, and this guy came up to me out of nowhere and says, oh, like, when you walk by me, like, I just had to come over and say something because you're just so cute. And I was just like, what? So I've had like strep the past week, if you can't tell from my voice, like much better because I'm on antibiotics. But I was in this awful outfit, like I was wearing flip-flops with it. I hadn't brushed my hair and I had a mask on. He's talking to me this whole thing, and he's like, oh, like, do you live here? Like, are you from New York? And I'm like, no, I'm here for work. And he said, oh, like, are you from Seattle then? I'm like, no. Like nothing I'm wearing tells you Seattle either. It's not like I had like a hat or something, or I love Seattle. Like, no. So I'm like, why do you think, like, no, why? He goes, oh, your eyes just say like Seattle or something. And I'm like, what? Like, what's that mean? No, I'm from South Florida. He's like, oh, okay. So, like, did you come here for school then? And I'm like, we just went over how I'm here for work, because then I had asked him, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm in fintech. And I was like, okay, like, you're in fintech? Like, what do you do there? And he's like, oh, I'm in fintech. I'm like, but what do you do? And he's like, oh, like, I do coding. And I'm like, oh, so you're a back-end developer? And he was like, don't peg me into a hole. I'm like, okay, like, sorry. Like he was like, oh, like, do you code? Like, because I knew what that was. I was like, no, like, just HTML. And he's like, oh, like, no, it's cool. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I said, no, I went to school in Michigan. He goes, oh, go blue, like, stuff. I'm like, yeah. And then I said, where did you go to school? Because that's the polite, reciprocal thing to do. He goes, oh, I went to Columbia, like, just graduated, actually. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm a grad student, so probably, like, 2 years older than you. And I'm like, okay. That was definitely not the reaction this man wanted, because his face was just like, that's it? And I'm like, yeah. By the end of it, he's like saying all these weird things, and he's like, oh, like, can I take you out for a drink? I'm like, no, sorry, like, whatever. So, like, I go away to grab my last item and get in line, because the line in this Trader Joe's gets insane. Like, you walk in, there's produce, and then the cashier's in front of that. And then usually the line starts, like, right before the produce. So you have to go through, like, the whole store. I'm like, one of 3 things is going to happen. Either one, this man puts down his bag of spinach and runs away, because he, like, brought up a point of having spinach and saying something about why I don't have spinach. And I was like, I bought some earlier, actually, fun fact. And then he made fun of how many Trader Joe's, like, I had been to that day. I'm like, I forgot an item, sue me. He's going to continue shopping like a normal person, or 3, like, something else is going to happen. So I get in line, and I'm going through the whole store, and I don't see him. So I'm like, okay, did he leave? Is he out shopping? Maybe somewhere else in line? I finally see him. I'm almost at the end of the line, and I look to my right. I'm like, oh, a product. Like, I just told someone about this product. I love the product, so I grab some of that and throw it in my bag. And then I turn to the left, because I'm passing some of the freezer and contemplating if I should get out of line. Because of his whole ordeal, I forgot to get shrimp. And that was, like, one of the main reasons I went, is because, like, I like to stock up on frozen shrimp for, like, emergency, you know? And I turn, and I see him chatting up another girl. And I was like, and, like, I don't care. Like, it's not like I care that he was, like, chatting some other girl, but it was just weird, you know? Like, is he just hitting up all the girls in Trader Joe, like, trying to get, like, the girls? I don't know. Looked around, like, her and I are the only 2 girls there alone, like, in our age range. Like, everyone else was, like, a mom with her husband or, like, partner, or, like, gay couples. Like, there was no other just single females standing there. So it was just like, So I decide, since she's facing away from me, like, I have her back, like, she can't really see me, like, peripheral back, like, she's not going to notice me, but he probably will. So I turn and I'm waiting for him to see me, and then he sees me and I just go, because like what else? Like I was like, that's too comedic. I want him to know I see what he's doing. Like, what's wrong with you? So he like awkwardly is like, oh, and like tries to wave, and I see the girl starting to turn just because she's like, who's this man randomly waving at? Like, who does he know in the grocery store? And then the line moves. So I get to go quickly out of view, check out, and I'm on my merry way. But yeah, I just thought that was such a crazy random story because I'm like, serves you right. Don't pick up girls when we're trying to just mind our business in the Trader Joe's. So to this day, I wonder, is the spinach a prop? Because I looked when I was like looking at that girl he was talking to, and he didn't have any other items. And it was where I basically said no. So I swear, I said no, and he just walked like 2 feet forward, started talking to her, and then that's it. And I'm like, what if after he just like left and like dropped the spinach off? So I don't know, but it made me laugh. But enjoy this quesadilla. Cheers. That's good. Hello, I'm going to be baking today. I'm gonna make some marbled brownies and then also I think a little stuffed chicken breast, so we'll see. I'm going to a little party get together with some coworkers, and I thought some marbled brownies would be so nice to make. And I actually have a funny story because I'm getting my kitchen cleaned and ready so I can start baking. And I just am like, oh yeah, this thing. So does it have like olive oil and nail file? So I'm not good at home DIYs. And yesterday I decided to Gorilla Glue my little felt, like the fabric things, so you don't, like, you put, oh my god, that's horrible illustration. These things that you put under furniture so that way they don't like scrape or make a loud noise, and they kept falling off my bar stools. So I was like, oh, I'll put Gorilla Glue, and I've never used Gorilla Glue. So that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was that I didn't realize how much had come off, and it was like all over, so it kind of got on my hand, like whatever, and I pushed it onto the thing, I'm like, oh no, it's everywhere, so I decided to rub it with my hands, and I'm thinking, wait, are you not supposed to get this on your skin? So I rush to the bathroom trying to rinse it off, and as I'm putting soap and water trying to get it, I just see my hands like literally turning white everywhere. I wish I had taken a video, but I was like, this doesn't age well, I don't want to see it. So my hands were completely covered, like white. Like I looked like a statue in the museum. Instead of them being made out of plaster, these were like dunked in Gorilla Glue. That's what I looked like. And I was like, that's not good. So instead, I immediately did not call my mom because my mom would be like, I told you, blah, blah. So I immediately went on Google and was like, how do you get Gorilla Glue off hands? And the first result was like, take a rock or a stick. And like, I live in New York City. There's no rocks or sticks around. And like, why would I rub that against my skin? So I kept scrolling and said like, you should heat up like olive oil or coconut oil or whatever oil. And then take like a pumice or salt and rub it. And so I've like used a nail file before as kind of like an exfoliant. So I was like, okay, so I'm just like dousing myself in like heat up olive oil, like rubbing, and it really works. So if you ever get in that pickle, now you know. So thanks WikiHow for once. I just realized I don't even know if I fluttered. I think this is enough. Shout out my neighbor who didn't want this, because now I get to use it, and I got it for free, so that's nice. This is enough butter. Oh my gosh, this is the worst I've ever opened a stick of butter in my life. Like, why am I like this? Okay. Okay, butter. It's really not working with me here. Okay, plop that in. Got my favorite whisk, or spatula. Why am I like this? It smells like I'm at a pizzeria in the best way possible. Oh, it smells so good. the best part of brownies is you don't have to wait for the butter to get all warm and creamy. You can just melt it. Brownie part is done. And now I'm gonna move on to the cream cheese mixture. So it says you want to use this as a softened mixture. Clearly it's not soft yet, so we'll just pop her in the microwave, you know? It's probably fine. Sometimes I'm like, how do I cook? This is so powerful. I feel like a plane's taking off. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I made like the cutest little dollops. Okay, well that was quick and that was good. And the oven, I could not time that better. The oven just finished preheating. So, and then it says 1 egg. This is how you get more of a cheesecake factor. A little more ASMR. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm gonna add in my chocolate chips. Ah! Oh my god. I'm only a disaster when I vlog, I swear. I'm usually like so on top of everything and then I vlog and it just goes horribly. Like I've never done this and yet somehow I dropped my entire bag of chocolate chips in here. But it's fine because I'm gonna use the whole bag anyways. But I'm just like, that would somehow happen to me. This is such a Jenna move. Here. Problem solved. The batter tastes good. It's been about 30 minutes or so. Just checked the brownies. The top layer still needs to get brown. It was like really jiggly and like this isn't a jiggly cheesecake recipe. So I'm waiting for that to set. I'm heating up some oil because I just attempted to do some stuffed chicken breasts. So these are my stuffed chicken breasts. This one is like exploding, but this one looks pretty good from the top. So we'll see. And then I'm gonna actually do some lemon garlic cream pasta and I'll just add in the rest of the spinach and maybe do some sauteed spinach later the week. But yeah, we all know spinach goes down to nothing. So honestly, I can probably finish that whole bag in here. So I'm very excited. Yeah, so eventually I need these to come out because I'll have to cook the rest of the chicken in there. But this is feeling good. So I think I'm gonna start searing the chicken. Keep sizzling good. Here are the brownies. I feel like they look pretty good. Ooh. The swirling's pretty nice. Update, the pasta is done. I have some pasta water over here. My lemon's cut. Down the spinach. I have my garlic in there. This is my pan from earlier, so lots of stuff stuck on it, but it's fine. Quick update. I tried the pasta and it's so good. Ignore my toothpicks, I'll be taking those out, but here's my food. So, can't wait to eat. It's literally so hot in my kitchen, so I'm eating at the couch, my pull-up table, but this pasta is so good. Like, let's get a bite. Cheers. So good. Just a cross section. Oh my god, it looks so good. Here's the chicken. It's like literally steaming. That was good. All right, see you guys later. Just got off the subway and headed to the friend's house with the brownies. That's it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm off to the party. Bye.